The Happy Hollisters at Seagull Beach by Jerry West. Illustrated by Helen S. Hamilton. Copyright 1953. Chapter 1. Ship Ahoy! Pete and Pam Hollister roller skated along the sidewalk as fast as their flying feet could carry them. They wanted to catch the mailman. "Oh, Mr. Barnes," Pam called out, her brown eyes dancing with excitement. "Have you a letter for us from Uncle Russ?" As the gray-haired man smiled and stopped, Pete and Pam skidded to a halt in front of their rambling home. "I believe there is a letter for the Happy Hollister children," Mr. Barnes said, reaching into his bag. "It's postmarked Seagull Beach." "That's it!" Pete cried gleefully as he ran his fingers through his blonde, crew-cut hair. As the man handed Pam the letter, the children kicked off their skates and sat down on the lawn. Pam opened the letter and glanced eagerly at it. "Uncle Russ says there's a pirate ship at Seagull Beach," she exclaimed. "A pirate ship?" Pete cried. "Here, let me read it too," he begged. Pete, the oldest of the 5 Hollister children, was 12. He was a friendly boy with frank blue eyes, a broad smile, and husky shoulders. His sister Pam, who was 2 years younger, had blonde hair, which she wore in a fluffy bob. All of her friends in Shoreham liked her because she was kind and generous. "Oh boy," Pete said as he read Uncle Russ's letter. "I wish I could see that pirate ship." The children's favorite uncle, who looked much like their tall, good-looking father, was a newspaper cartoonist. He had gone to Seagull Beach to make sketches, and the Hollisters had been looking forward to this letter, which he had promised them. "Read it out loud," Pam urged. "Okay. Uncle Russ says, last week I came upon a group here who were looking for a pirate ship called the Mystery. It was wrecked 100 years ago, and they're sure it must be buried somewhere in the area. How would you like to visit me for a short vacation and hunt for the treasure ship, too? Ask Mother and Dad to bring you. With love, Uncle Russ. P.S. Tell your mother I'm sending her a surprise package." "Wouldn't it be great if we could hunt for a pirate treasure?" Pete said as they jumped up. "Say," he added, "what's that funny mark on the envelope?" Next to the postmark was a big blue square with a picture in it of a boy flying a kite. Underneath were the words, "Championship Kite Flying Contest, Seagull Beach, August 17th. "That's keen," Pete said. "If we go to see Uncle Russ, maybe I can enter it." "Do you suppose girls can too?" Pam asked. "I'll write and find out," he answered. As Pam put the letter into her pocket, 7-year-old Ricky Hollister came running down the driveway, pulling a coaster wagon and yelling like an Indian. Sitting inside the wagon and holding on tightly were his 2 younger sisters, Holly, 6, and Sue, 4. When Ricky saw Pete and Pam, he swerved toward them. The wagon tilted and the smaller girls rolled onto the lawn. They picked themselves up, laughing, and Sue said, "Ricky, you made me lose my hopper grass." Puzzled, Ricky stared at his little sister. Then he realized what she meant. "Don't worry, I'll catch another grasshopper for you," Ricky volunteered. Ricky was the only one in the Hollister family who had reddish hair. It was usually mussed up, which seemed to go well with his freckles, turned-up nose, blue eyes, and pixie smile. Holly was much like Ricky, except that she had brown eyes and dark hair. It was braided in 2 pigtails, which hung over her shoulders. Before Ricky had a chance to take off after another grasshopper, Pam said, "We have a letter from Uncle Russ. He wants us to hunt for pirate treasure." "Yikes!" Ricky exclaimed, giving another whoop. Pam read the letter aloud. "That's neat," Ricky burst out. Holly skipped up and down. "I've always wanted to be a lady pirate," she said. "Let's tell Mother about this," Pam proposed. The 5 Hollisters ran pell-mell to their lovely home, which was situated on the shore of Pine Lake. Mrs. Hollister, a pretty, young-looking woman with blonde hair, was in the living room watering some ivy. Pam said, "Surprise!" and gave her the letter to read. "Well, this is an exciting idea," Mrs. Hollister commented, smiling. "May we go find the pirate ship?" Holly asked. "It would be a grand trip, wouldn't it?" her mother agreed. "We'll have to ask Daddy." Mr. Hollister was the proprietor of the Trading Post, one of Shoreham's most popular stores. It was a combination hardware and sporting goods shop. In one corner were all kinds of toys. "Daddy's coming home to lunch," Mrs. Hollister said. "We can ask him about the trip then." With that, a faraway look came into her eyes. "I wonder what kind of surprise Uncle Russ is sending me," she added. "I just can't wait to see it." "Perhaps he painted some seashells for decorations," Pam guessed. "Uncle Russ is a wonderful painter." Sue looked up very seriously at her mother. "I wish he'd send us our cousins, Jean and Teddy," she said. "I can just see them coming by mail," Pete chuckled, "with postage stamps pasted all over them." Jean and Teddy were the children of Uncle Russ and Aunt Marge. They lived in Crestwood, the town in which the Hollisters used to live. "I'd love to see your cousins, too," Mrs. Hollister said, laughing. Then, as she looked out the window, she added, "Here comes Daddy now. We'll ask him if he wants to be a treasure hunter." Before their father had time to climb out of his station wagon, the children raced up to him. He picked up Sue, tossed her high into the air, and caught her. The other children began to talk all at once. "Can we hunt for a pirate ship? Uncle Russ wants us to. Mother thinks it's a good idea. Can we go, Daddy?" Mr. Hollister put Sue down and scratched his head. "Wait a second. What's all this about? One question to a customer." Pam quickly told him about the letter and asked whether they all could go pirate ship hunting at Seagull Beach. "That depends," he began. "On the pirates?" Ricky piped up. "On business," their father replied. Mr. Hollister explained that there was so much activity at the Trading Post it would be impossible for him to leave the store right now. "But we might go later," he added, seeing the looks of disappointment on his children's faces. "Before the 17th?" Pete asked eagerly, thinking of the kite contest. "Maybe, but that's only a half promise." Pete and the others looked relieved, and Pam said, "While we're waiting to go to Seagull Beach, let's play pirate." "That'd be swell," Pete agreed. "We can put on a show in our backyard." "And sell tickets," Ricky shouted. "Yikes, let's start it this afternoon." During lunch, the children talked about the pirate play. When they finished eating, all of them rushed into the backyard, which extended from the house to the lakefront. Halfway to the dock stood a wooden flagpole. Reaching it, Pete stopped and looked up. "This will be the mast of the pirate ship," he said. "We'll nail rungs on it and a yardam near the top." Ricky looked at the lawn. "Let's mark out the deck on the grass with pieces of wood. There's plenty of it alongside the garage." "What can Holly and I do?" Pam asked. "We'll need more players," Pete said. "Why don't you make up a play and then get some of our friends to be in it?" Pam said she would do this, and hurried off with Holly to round up several playmates. While they were gone, Sue watched her brothers prepare the outdoor stage. Pete nailed rungs up the flagpole and fastened a yardam securely to the top. Ricky laid pieces of wood on the grass in the shape of a ship's deck. Then he set logs on boxes to look like cannon. "We're all ready for the attack," he shouted. "Who are you attacking?" Sue asked. "Sue's right," Pete chuckled. "We must have another boat." He glanced at their rowboat tied to the dock. "Let's pull her out of the water, Ricky, and put wheels on it. Then we can roll her alongside the pirate ship." The idea of wheels on anything appealed to Ricky. In the cellar were 4 old ones which he had recently taken off his coaster wagon. He got them and helped his brother attach the wheels to the lower part of the rowboat. While the boys were rolling it around, Pam and Holly came back, followed by their lovely collie, Zip. The dog began to bark excitedly, thinking this was a good game. He's a pirate dog now, Sue giggled. With Pam and Holly were Jeff and Ann Hunter, Dave Mead and Donna Martin, the Hollisters' children's best friends. Here are the rest of the actors, Pam said happily. How about making Dave captain of the pirate ship? And Pete, you be the captain of the American ship that's chasing him. Swell, said Dave, a slender, red-cheeked boy about Pete's age. Then he grinned. I suppose I'll be captured in the end. You bet, said Ricky. 10-year-old Anne, who had gray eyes and dark, curly hair, was chosen to be a member of the pirate crew, along with her 8-year-old brother Jeff, and Donna, who was 7. Holly wanted to be a pirate too, and Pam said she might, but added, the rest of us will be in Pete's crew and capture you. Suddenly another boy came running up the drive. He was a little larger than Pete, with black hair and squinty eyes. Hey, what's going on here? He shouted. Oh, that Joey Brill, Pam whispered to Pete. He would have to see what we're doing. Joey was an unfriendly boy who continually annoyed children smaller than himself. He had made lots of trouble for the Hollisters since they'd moved to Shoreham. We're having a pirate play, Pete said, without explaining further. Then I want to be the pirate captain, Joey demanded. Dave's already been picked for the captain, Pam spoke up. Joey thrust out his chin. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to change that. He moved toward Dave. I'm the new captain, he shouted at the boy and gave him a hard shove.